What's going on, guys? Welcome back. Baron McQueen for the Brand Castle. You know, we always talk about all things marketing, social media management, entrepreneurship, everything under the sun, man. Personal development, personal branding, public relations. So we talking about all of those things. But today, we are talking about my top 5 shows that every entrepreneur should watch. So I want to start at number 5, and then I'm gonna work my way up. So if anybody who's new to the channel, my name is Baron McQueen. I'm a marketing expert and branding specialist, focusing on entrepreneurship, everything to do with marketing, personal branding, public relations. So if you're new to the channel, definitely subscribe, hit that notification bell, make sure you follow me on all social media sites at Baron McQueen. But so we're gonna start at number 5. So number 5 is a show called I Quit. Now the reason this show resonates with me is because I was working for a hurricane impact window company here in South Florida. I left the company in 2019 to pursue my journey as an entrepreneur and working for myself, and this show is all about that. It's taking people in different scenarios who've always had this passion on the side, whether it was their side hustle, whether it was their just something they was doing after work, but they take the leap of faith and they quit their job to pursue their personal dreams, and they're starting their own business. So for me, it's not number 1 on my list, but it did make the list at number 5 because I feel it's super important for people to see that it's definitely possible. I'm proof that you can definitely leave your 9-to-5 job, focus on your own business, and actually do it. You know, I quit my job and I started working on my own stuff. And the problem was, I was at a time when I stopped working for a company to start my own company. It was right in the middle of a pandemic. So I knew that if I could make it out of this pandemic, I would be good. So I'm definitely fortunate. This is my company, Real Estate Captured. I own a real estate photography company here in South Florida. So that's number 5 on my list. The show is called I Quit. Show number 4. Now this is an older show that I actually got hip to way later on. Is a show called How I Made My Millions. So when you watch this show, you are definitely gonna see a bunch of people who invented products that made them millions of dollars. This show I was so tuned into this show because a lot of these products that these people invented and prototypes and patents and all of these things are some stuff that we use every day, whether it's from toy manufacturers to games to Nerf guns. You really get to see the process of how these guys had an idea, created an invention or created a product, and how they made their millions getting it. So that's number 4 on my list, is a show called How I Made My Millions. Super informative, and it's really dope. So show number 3 is a show called $1 Billion Buyer. And why this show is super dope, so the guy who is the billionaire who's invested into these other companies, he owns restaurants, casinos, hotels, and what he does is he finds small businesses who have a product which he can sell in his industry of hospitality. So in the hospitality, he's got casinos all over the world, hotels, restaurants, and he finds these small business owners and he pretty much gives them their first big order for one of his businesses, which he can use in any of his facilities. Super dope. I really like his aspect because all of his businesses really tie into one another. So the hotels tie in to the casinos ties in to the restaurants. So he's built this $1 billion corporation in the hospitality field. He's finding smaller businesses where he can use their services to give them their first big order within his hospitality industry. So that's my next one. That show number 3 is the $1 Billion Buyer. I believe it's on Netflix right now, but Definitely a good watch for any entrepreneur. Show number 2, one of my favorites, is The Profit. And why The Profit is so high on the list is because as a small business owner, a large business owner, there's so much valuable information that you get. So Marcus goes in to these companies that are failing. They a couple steps away from closing the doors, and he comes in and sees if he can help save them by investing in the business. So a lot of things you learn, especially in a product-based business, if you have a product or a food product or any kind of product, you really learn about the profits and loss. You really learn about your costs and your margins, and especially from the food aspect, you know, how you can lower your initial costs to make your margins bigger and wholesale and then find distributors. So this is super important. A dope show, and the show's called The Profit, right? So us as business owners, entrepreneurs, the profit is what we care about, and this show really dives into the details that are needed to actually run a successful business, and a lot of things that these businesses were doing previously that didn't work until he came in and implemented some systems and some structures, some pricing, some branding. I mean, he does everything. So The Profit is very high on the list. Number 2 on the list is The Profit. Definitely check it out. So we finally at the top of the list. Show number 1 is a show that I just recently got familiar with, and the show is called Undercover Billionaire. This show, the reason I like this show, right, is because it's the perfect example of us as small business owners or startup entrepreneurs of really starting with nothing. So this follows the journey of a couple billionaires. They give them $100, they give them a phone with 0 contacts, and then they give them a truck. And their goal is in 90 days to take that $100 and turn it into $1 million company, right? So after the 90 days, they evaluate the company's worth, and if it's worth $1 million, then they win the challenge, and if not, they have to invest their own $1 million into the business. And I think this show is the most important because a lot of people that are starting out with not a lot of money, right? So if these people can do it with $100, there's definitely some gems in these episodes that you can really take back and implement into your business or into your startup, whatever you're working on. But I think this is the most important because the purpose of the show was to see if the American dream still exists, right? Can you come to this country, or can you start a business with not having very little and turn it into something? So I think this show is super important. So that's my list, man. The top 5 shows that every entrepreneur should be watching. If you are an entrepreneur, a business owner, if you're a business who's already grown and been able to do some things, you're definitely still gonna learn something from these 5 shows. Show number 5 is I Quit. Show number 4 is How I Made My Millions. Show number 3, $1 Billion Buyer. Show number 2, The Profit. And show number 1, Undercover Billionaire. All of these shows is going to have some valuable tips and some gems for you, things that you can take back to your own business and implement systems and ideas and concepts that's really going to help. And it's also motivating you, you know, as an entrepreneur. This is the toughest job. You're working for yourself. You're trying to get sales. It's really not for everybody, this entrepreneurship journey. So I encourage you to add these shows to your list, and you're definitely gonna learn a lot. So until next time, make sure you follow me on all social media platforms. Baron McQueen is my handle somewhere under here on every social media platform. Also subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, hit that notification bell so you get up to date with the latest videos every time I release a video. And until next time, I'll see you guys soon.